solutions across a varied spectrum of engagement.
Welcome back to the Hajim Becoming series, where we explore the deep truths and the principles that will enable you to become everything you are made to be, to do, and to have. My name is William Awana.
I have actually learned a lot today, personally, from this episode, from this the Becoming series today. I have learned a lot, and I have been inspired personally.
Components achieved. Resistors are 10 naira, 5 naira. Transistors 100 naira. Which you do the amplification. Transformer is just for amplification. I do the conversion. I convert the DC voltage to AC voltage. That is how I'm able to produce a power supply.
That's an amazing journey there.
I have the meal for myself. So what I do is go into the village.
Love collaborations and partnerships.
Empower with the women. I was like, let me buy the food.
Wow.
Please do this for me. In turn, I'm paying them money. So they mill the oil for me. I check it is what I want for my consumers, for my customers. So that's how I've been able to maintain that.
Great. Obviously, you have a lot of teams.
Time,
I mean, a lot of people working with you on this.
So with time, gradually, as we're growing, definitely, is to acquire, to rent more farmlands, like for the farm fruit, where we can harvest, and all of that to ours, and then have our own plantation. But for now, we're just doing what we have.
Great job.
Impacting not just about us.
And some people don't also know that where we are, just like you have the Google Earth, for an example, there's a dotting where you are right now that is called something right up there. So if you have the Star app or the Gazers app, for an example, you're going to see some dotting, the listings, the namings. And the first question is like, who named these things? Fly this, that, and that, and that, and that. Every space, every joint, every area in the space, framework is named. The question is, who named it?
Questions from my heart, ringing every day. Who am I? Who am I? Some more, believe some more, love some more. It's bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hajim Becoming series, where we explore the deep truths and the principles that will enable you to become everything you are made to be, to do, and to have. My name is William Awana. Of course, I'm not here alone. I'm here with my very beautiful, very delectable, and very red hot co-host.
My name is Mafin Awana. A warm welcome to you today, joining us to showcase innovation in Africa. Of course, we're beaming on homegrown solutions, and then we're considering very amazing concepts that has been able to move our nation and continent forward.
Excellent. So to kick off this conversation, because we have some very great entrepreneurs here in the house with us today, I was thinking about something that I read concerning the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, right? He was a teen, late teens thereabout, and he was taken to where computers were produced. Now, back in the day, computers were not the size of the things that we see now. No desktops, no laptops, nothing like that. There were these huge things that were in a room that you have to walk into and just look at the site of all of that and all of that. So He went there and he looked at the computers that were available. I think it was at I can't remember the company, but he looked at them and he just asked the question. And his question was, what if these computers, as huge as they are, can be reduced to the size of something you can put on your desk? He just asked the question and he walked out. Right? Now, that when I read that and I got to thinking about all the various innovations that have occurred through time, through entrepreneurial activities.
Absolutely.
That question, either overtly or covertly, has been asked by all the great entrepreneurs. What if I did this? What if we thought in this other direction?
Absolutely.
What if? And that has been the trend, that has been the narrative that has driven a lot of things that have occurred over time, right? And I think that by deliberately, because it has to be an intentional thing, lots of entrepreneurs that accomplish great things were actually thought of as crazy. They come up with ideas and people are like, you're nuts, you're out of your mind. but they persisted in that idea because they believed that they had value, right, that they could bring to the fore that would transform the narrative. So I think as entrepreneurs, one of the key things that we have to always maintain intentionally is this what if mindset.
Yeah, the
Because
what if mindset.
by constantly asking yourself, even if the idea doesn't work out the first time, what if? Okay, what if I tried it
Absolutely.
this way? What if, okay, this one failed? What if I went this other direction? You never know how something great could come up with asking yourself the question. So I just wanted to use that to set the ball rolling as we delve into the conversation.
So today we have a great outlook. We have lots of, amazing ideas that we're going to be beaming on this table. It's the Becoming series. So we're going to be hearing great solutions from Kindness Udeme, who'll be, she'll be telling us a lot she's doing around her sector, but I know she does a lot. So I don't know which one she's going to be talking about today. We're going to be hearing from our brother. He has great stuff he's doing also. So what if you want to change that water into wine? What if you want to be able to do that thing that is different? You look around you, there are problems in the society, and you don't want it, you don't like it. You don't understand why it's happening. So you don't look to why is it not being done by the government? And you just go right into yourself and say, I'm going to be the change. I'm going to take the step. I'm going to take this waste off the floor. I'm going to make something out of this waste. I'm going to turn it into industry. And that is what is most important as you begin your what if journey. So if you're in that stage of your life and you're doing the what if, you can. There's nothing that is impossible. It's interesting when you look at certain concepts in astrology or even astronomy, as it were. Some people don't know that stars are born and stars are reborn, and that stars even get recreated, and that the stars even give birth. And some people don't also know that where we are, just like you have the Google Earth, for an example, there's a dotting where you are right now that is called something right up there. So if you have the Star app or the Gazers app, for an example, you're going to see some dotting, the listings, the namings. And the first question is like, who named these things? Pleiades, this, that, and that, and that, and that. Every space, every joint, every area in the space, framework is named. The question is, who named it? And that what if journey becomes a big deal because the discovery game is beautiful. The first time you had an astrologer look at the sky, it was a sun, moon, star they saw. And then another thing happened, and then some other person said, can we use a lens and move it further? Can we see more? And then today we have someone who's been able to see 30 billion years before time, or billions of years before time. Yeah. So that what if dimension and narrative and ideology has to come on board if we're going to move different sectors forward. And so, Kindness, tell us what if. Tell us about the what if from your perspective. Remember I just said that we saw the M97, give us a perspective, right? But we have another telescope doing that right now, right? So we want to see from your telescope, what if?
What if Nigerians stop importing fish feed from other countries?
Amazing.
What if our mothers, our grandmothers, our brothers or sisters, even our loved ones stop dying just by traffic congestion where we have in the markets, by inhaling dirty polluted waste, which is really harmful to their system? What if people get paid for parking refuse in the streets and in the markets? What if we turn trash into food? And that is where we bettered Fish Feed Solution Enterprise, where we turn trash into food. And those are basically what we call bio-waste. Like we have the oysters, we have periwinkle shells, the things we dump in the market, and they're not properly disposed by the market women, the sellers and the buyers. And a very typical example is one of our major markets where we have traffic congestion, and then people tend to wind down their screens. You inhale those polluted airs, and yet we are going to churches praying. Our children are dying of asthma and different, let's say, diseases that are really harmful to the body. We also have kidney failure. We have the cancer that disturbs the liver. And these are caused by this waste that are being improperly disposed. And yet we keep blaming it on the people we call village people. It's far beyond that. And a solution we better did not just provide or stop people from dying without knowing or ignorantly, but it also created employment opportunity for young people. We also work with the aged people, because the least those ones can do is to pick up the empty waste bin and then take it to different sectors or segments of the local markets, where we basically target to get the waste out. And then for the young ones who can actually handle the mobility, like the tricycles that help to take this waste out from the market to the factory where we have them recycled. And then we also have people who are actually the able men. I call them my able men, because if you know what it takes to power a plant, one plant in our factory, I can't do it. But as a scientist, I can tell you how it works. But it needs natural energy, and it takes those competent staff, because I cherish them so much. They are also a reason outside our customers where we exist, and I place value on them, because they turn the magic, they turn our dreams into reality by helping us to provide solutions. I mean, amazing solutions to our targeted customers.
Even. So, Josephine, so please, what if? What is your what if?
I will say, from me, what if simply means a progression into thinking outside the box. Because when you sit down and you're like, what if this happens? What if this is done? It helps you to progress into next stage of thinking outside the regular, thinking outside what is going on. Do you understand? So what if gives birth to me to thinking outside the box. And thinking outside the box now helps you to have a different picture from what people are doing. For example, I'm a shoemaker. And it's when I tell people I'm a shoemaker, they are like, is it possible that you can move from what they call the feminine occupation, what women are doing, moving into what they call the male dominated environment? Do you understand? So I like good shoes, and I like shoes that are pure leather, not synthetic leather, so that you don't have problems in future. Shoes that are very reliable. I love it when I see men wear it. So what I do mostly is men's shoes. I don't even do female shoes. So to me, I love that. If I'm a female shoemaker, I make female shoes, but I don't mostly male shoes. Do you understand? So most of my customers like what I do, because when a woman is involved in whatever she's doing, passion is involved. So yes, so when the production is being done, the aspect of the production, the progression and everything is done with love. So it makes all the difference. So from where we were to where we are, I can tell you 100% that I, as a woman in that field, have made lots and lots of progress, and I have really, really gone far in that aspect.
So that was how what if?
Yeah.
What if I take on a man's job, or it's supposedly,
supposedly,
it's pretty much like that. So what if? What's your what if?
Thank you very much. My boss do say that entrepreneurship is a creative destructor. Then I always think about things. How can I destroy has already been creative already? What if there is no job again in this country? What if, as people are giving birth to, a woman will give birth to about 12, 9? I think government cannot provide the job for all of them. We need to sit up and look at what we can do. We plan on what we can put our hands together so that we can provide a job for ourselves, even for the community. Golden Ventures decides and always think on piggery. Now, meat is something that you don't take it to market, then you take it back. There is no way, even if you have 100 pigs now, everybody in a day, you can sell it off, not without wasting time. And Golden Ventures decide on a unique way of rearing pigs. Not only rearing pigs, but how to, because the price of feed now is very costly, and most people that was doing this pig are going back to the house because of the high cost of feed. But Golden Venture said no. When we're in this pig, we are going to still use, I think this my sister is still in my same page, and we think the same way. I will use the waste, the biomass, to produce electricity and power for my community. I think I said, what if we don't have solar? Again, solar has a lot of problem. Sometimes raining season, there is no sun. I think there will be no power supply. Fuel now is costly. I think with Golden Ventures, the creativity can give us light and can give us a steady power supply.
Great job. So what are you doing currently?
I am into piggery for now, and also working in the long run. I will add on the biomass.
Great job. So what was the background to, every entrepreneur sets out to drive, a cause based on a solution they are preferring. So we would like to have a brief, starting from kindness. What made you go into what you're doing? And so we come right back to you, and then right back to Shuklis here.
It is. A lot of young people do say SAPA, but it's not SAPA for me. SAPA never took me to do what I am doing. SAPA cannot even give you creativity to start with. You can't even innovate anything with SAPA. SAPA gives you the motivation to make money. But a brief background, I lost my grandmother 2019, my paternal grandma. She had cancer of the lungs. And she used to sell fresh fish in the market. And as at then, no one was really bothered because she was actually old, no doubt. But I had to move to the doctor to find out what killed her, because it was slowly. And the doctor was like, she had cancer of the lungs. And I needed to know the cause, because for a person like that, she doesn't smoke. So where is it coming from? And I had to carry out a research that showed, air pollution could cause that. And I needed to know what kind of pollution was this, right? So she was selling in the market. So seated very close to where we had the West Monster Point. And inhaling this West while selling, what happened to the rest of the people who did not know about this? Out of ignorance, you could keep staying there to sell. You have to make a living. And then, to me, was just moving the West. But what was I going to do with the West? Was I going to move this West alone? And something amazing happened. I'll call it amazing because it's a story of my life. 2020, I had to, withdraw from a university where I got admission to study civil engineering, because on the long run, my dad invested money into fish farming and he could barely feed the catfish. Why? Because when he started, the price of fish feed, foreign fish feed, then was 4,500 in Nigeria currency, and then 2020 it moved to 14,000 naira, some 12,000. And for someone who already had like 1,000 capacity of the catfish, it would be very difficult for you as at that time to advert, because you didn't plan for that, you didn't budget for that on a long run. So I had to stay back from school. I missed that admission, which was so dear to me. One of the best universities, and just because he could not afford that. And I said something. One of those days we did not have food for the fish, and we had already lost so much catfish. So I had to sprinkle this thing. It was fish. It contained fish and then these crayfish shells on the pond. And I noticed that the catfish were rushing it. I could not see a particle on it. And I noticed that in time past, for the foreign fish feed, they were always floating on the water. And for this fish to consume something that had calcium, I needed to look out for recipes that would provide him with calcium, iron, and the rest of the thing. So first I had to bring the West back to the house. As I then I met a Federal Ministry of Agriculture. There was a program they were doing, and they were training fish farmers. So they were actually telling us every recipe, what it does to the catfish, and I picked it from there. So with the help of my research, I had to grind this. And I noticed there was something the white guys called pelleting machine. I didn't have money to import it because it was like millions of naira. I told my father, you have a welding skill, please can you come, let's fabricate this.
Wow.
All we needed to do was just a machine, a pelleting machine that can give us sizes of fish feed that the catfish will be able to swallow. We used about 3 months to come up with a pelleting machine, a local pelleting machine, which in our state, he has been able to produce over 1,000 of that to the rest of the fish farmers who actually have trained for them to produce their biofish feed by themselves to feed their catfish. So with the help of that innovation, you saw we brought out 2 innovations now, the local pelleting machine and of course our biofish feed. So I was able to come up with that, though it was difficult because I missed something. But I didn't stop there. I had to, look out for videos on YouTube, and I needed to see what the white guys were doing. It was all branding. I had issues with branding. I had to brand it. And if you see our biofish feed branding, it's one of the best. I remember those times in my state, they'll be like one of the top 20 products that is exportable, because it's an exportable branding standard. It's amazing, it's top notch. And I didn't just stop there. I made a relief because out of passion. And I didn't want other fish farmers to experience what I'd experienced.
Wow.
I wanted their children to still be in school while their parents' businesses were still running. I made mine very affordable. Of course, God provided a solution by giving us free waste. They are waste, yes. People know it is free, you don't pay for it. But we've moved to a point where we make you very comfortable while you're disposing your waste. What did we do? Anytime you have the fish shells and the crayfish shells, we just be like, come to us, we measure it, we weigh what size do we have, then we pay you.
Wow.
Imagine being the happiness when you get being paid to dispose waste. We are the one disposing it.
That's an amazing
We are
innovation.
giving you money, so people tend to safeguard it, tie it, and then we get to the market. We pay the market women, the market guys, everybody. We just pick up the fish.
That's the full value chain.
I didn't really know, right? And then at the end of the day, some of them still go back to their houses. I mean, everybody now in Nigeria, almost everyone are. Probably, let's say we're in catfish, are into catfish farming, maybe for personal consumption, commercial purposes, and the rest. They still come back to buy their end products. We share the money, we benefit from the profits.
Wow. Listening to Kindness today is very revelatory. Like, it's alarming. It's like, how do you begin a search, a discovery search? Do you want to talk about a search? It's amazing. What's your disposition? Because it's some kind of search thing. Some research here, some searching. Daddy, you know this? Can we do some welding game here? Can we put this together? Can we solve this problem? Can we? It's like that. What if that is really, really embedded there?
Yes, and I'm pretty glad that we started the conversation on that footing, because when we're talking about entrepreneurial development, a lot of the thinking around it is limited, right? It's either, okay, I have this product, I have this service, and all of that. But if you're really going to make a mark, if you're really going to leave indelible footprints, you have to go beyond the normal thinking.
Absolutely.
Right? And it requires a lot of self-education. What we tend to get are a lot of people who are academically educated without necessarily being educated in the industry they want to play in. And when it comes to things like strategic analysis, you have to really make that effort to
Map the
ecosystem, understand exactly what is going on out there. And that takes a lot of deliberate effort on your part. If you don't give yourself that push to be able to see, okay, what is going on? How are these people doing these things? Okay, I don't have the resources to do that, but an alternative. Those are the things that will really push you to achieve, such as the things that she did, right? Okay, I don't have money for this, but can we come up with an alternative? So if you don't push yourself, and that really comes from an understanding that, look, hey, nobody else is going to do this for me. But if I want to really do this, I must push myself to be able to achieve this thing. So what if, asking the question of what if, leads to a journey of self-discovery. A journey of self-discovery leads you to achieving a lot more than you think that you could have.
Going
otherwise.
right back there, we're looking at aggregation. How do you handle volumes? Because it's really strong there. How do you work out that whole framing? Because I mean, it's very obvious that there's a lot of partnership that you really are looking out for in terms of you're open to partnerships with governments, partnerships with private, individuals, cores, and organizations, and all of that. Because it seems you're solving 100 problems in one.
Okay, fine. I will take from the end product, which is a biofish feed. Most time we tend to get other capacity we can't handle. But believe me, when you sit down and then strategize, like he said, you can handle it. We've trained over 1,000 fish farmers, not just hatching of the catfish, to produce fingerlings, but on how to produce the biofish feed. So when we have this kind of order, let's say 900,000 capacity, if we can handle 500,000, the remaining 400,000, we create a network where we have the retained trainees produce in their own little capacity, and then we add it up. We get the money and then we take our shares. Smart moves. No need to really
That's a beautiful point, because compared to our contemporaries, right, in other parts of the globe, there's a lot of selfishness that we see in Africa. That, okay, well, this is my idea. If it's not my idea, okay, I'm not going to do it, or I'm going to just hug it to myself. But the power of collaboration is what those guys leverage, right? Okay, fine, I can only do this to this extent.
Absolutely.
But guy, if you come in, we can kill a lot more birds, right, with that power of collaboration, that power of integrated effort, right? And I think we need to be able to be thinking about these things more and more often. We're talking about so many people are trapped in poverty, but it's part of the reason is because we're not sharing education. We're not sharing efforts. We're not saying, okay, this is what I'm doing. Why don't you come in and see what you can do? And by the time we aggregate these things, we're able to achieve a lot more than we could have done using a silo mentality.
Absolutely.
And to even add to that, I would say, if I forget, you don't really have to collaborate alone with your trainees, people who are in line, in the same line of business with you. You can also collaborate with people who are, let's say, it can be something else. Like the first collaboration I had was Take. I had a partnership with the Take guys. I needed a website for my business.
Whoa.
Outside the agri, I had collaboration with the tech guy. I mean, they had the website development. They were also handling our fish feed graphics. I didn't have to pay for it because at the end of the year, for people like that who have a share in our company, we had to hide our socials. So at the end of the year, how many brandings have you been able to, put up for our bags so that we can, put
What's
in this
conversion and all of that?
It was as simple as that. And when I started that, for some entrepreneurs, they were like, is this madness? How does agri relate with tech? I didn't have to explain my strategy because every brand, even Coca-Cola, has a recipe no one knows how to come up with. Your strategy makes you different as an entrepreneur. It's not just your creativity.
Please. Now, you're doing something that is not regular. I heard you say you train people, in shoemaking. You train people. You're just not doing that. You're not just doing service, but you're doing production. Manufacturing in Africa is very intense. Logistics becomes a big deal. What is your what if? And what are you also doing 100 things in one to make it, because this is very amazing. We're hearing from Kindness. You're doing an amazing job and training over 1,000 young people, agripreneurs is leads already. That's not government there. That's just an individual. And that is one thing that we get to see when we come on Becoming Serious. So tell us about it, Shoe Plays.
So, Shoe Plays, with regards to inspiration, I naturally like shoes, as I said. When anybody comes around, the first thing I see on you is your shoe. I don't see what you're wearing. I see your shoe. I just see your leg.
I see.
Yeah. So I had a friend, I will call him a friend, that noticed that about me, and was like, I know you have passion for shoes. You have passion for shoes. Why don't you go into shoemaking? Because it comes to you naturally. You understand? I when I see those shoes, I'll tell you what should have been done and what needs to be done without going into any training program. So because of where he came from, he suggested that I go into some training program with some Italian people, guys like that. And that is how I started with that passion now. So now when we were talking about the training program, we actually try as much as possible to go for trainees. We have a lot of trainees that apply, but we go first of all for those that have passion for what they intend to do. Because when you're talking about shoemaking, I try as much as possible not to really put myself there, because it's more about passion for me. And if I start talking about shoes, people say it's like a living thing, because I know that whatever is used in making shoe is the skin, and the skin is a living thing. And if I want to go into how skin has to be maintained, how your shoe needs to be maintained, you will not understand that it's actually a living thing. Yes, because that is why a living leather, a pure leather, does not expire. It's like the skin. It only has dust on it and you clean it off. So skin is a living thing. The same way you take care of your skin should be the same way you take care of your shoes.
From our cassava peels, vegetable, all the waste, and also vegetables and other items. I can easily enter bush, cut grasses and give the piglets. He accepted with me to give me a pig on one condition, that I will return the piglets after birth. I accepted with him. I said, no problem, as long as I continue my education and I have the money to continue my technical skills, no problem, I will do that. I collected one pig, I put it in. After like 3 months, I made it. The pig gave birth to about 8. Wow. The man said, this is amazing. And the pig has really grown so big, and even more than my own. I give my own starter. I give my own all type of feeds, foreign feed. I don't have the money to buy foreign feed. I use the local ones, the ones I can easily touch without buying. So the man said, this is amazing. Okay, just take 4. Let me take the other one. I now have about 5. Coming one, after like 2 months, I sold 2 out for about 30,000 naira then. I had enough money. I went in and buy this fowl feed starter. I keep it. And I will be giving the grasses and also give them the starter also. My farm was amazing. But I had a problem then, the smell. I said, how will I control the smell? I try all whatnot to control the smell, but it wasn't easy. I said, what makes you electrical student? What makes you a technician? What makes you a technologist? I came to discover that I can use this waste to produce power supply. I will not mention that pig has really given me a lot of money presently now. Because imagine one pig to born like 12, 15, one, and it only takes pregnancy lasts for about 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. You can
That's a lot.
Yeah. So now if one pig give you about 12 piglets, another one give you under 3 months or 4 months.
Yeah.
Another one give you about 12 or 10. Then you can sell each piglet at 45 to 50,000 naira.
That's a lot of money there.
I don't breed the local ones. I do rock and these white land raised British ones. I look for good breed.
Yeah.
I sold out his own, the one he gave me. I buy good breed. I think my farm is amazing. That my dad told me, you have done what I could not do as your father.
Wow.
But how do you take all this money? I love that. I am into farming. Presently, I've been able to solve a lot of problems. If I look at you now, I see that you have financial difficulties. You don't have money. You cannot go to school by yourself. I will call you, come. This is how I started. I will advise you. I will dash you one pig. Go. Just
Oh
go
my
and
God.
go and look for bamboo. Go and look for bamboo. Just look for bamboo in the bush. Cut it. Just vent it round. Just make the floor to be comfortable. Make out a drainage. Then try to see if you can control the waste, the smell. Because one thing I don't like is the smell. If I come to your farm, I discover that your farm is smelling, I will not come to your farm again because it is hazardous.
Oh, I see.
So
I see.
yes, I don't like it. I like clean environments. Although people say, "Oh, pigs are very dirty. Pigs love dirty places," it's a lie. Pigs, if you breed them well, they will like clean places. They like clean places.
So how do you control this?
Yes, that makes me to go into the knowledge of the biomass. I dig ground like a soccer well. I see that I connect everything and I channel it to a soccer well, which and even their where they eat, I don't keep it on the ground. I look for a container that should be able to. They only put their mouth and eat, and their urine which I channel it to a soccer well, which is very very important even to our society. Fertilizer. We talk about fertilizer now. People are buying my waste for fertilizer.
So let's come back to electricity because it's a problem in Africa.
Yes.
Problem in Nigeria.
Yes.
Considering solar, you talked about.
Yes.
How do you use that to make preferred solutions in electricity, power?
There probably in the knowledge of my physics. Then I think. I watched a YouTube channel. I saw one American man. Then he used about heat energy to turn a turbine to have electricity. And I consider even our power plants, they use heat, they cut trees, they heat it, they put fire, then it produces electricity, it turns a turbine. And I discovered that this waste too has a gas and it also has heat. I now channel them. When you see the turbine I have, if you notice it to move like a gas, it flows a power, it releases a power supply. I now convert. You can give me a little voltage, quite alright. With my knowledge I have, I think when I'm coming back here again, I will bring some of my products which I have. I design a lot of solar systems, inverter. I invert the voltage from, even if it can give me a 12 volts, it's okay with me. 12 volts, now I can convert it to 220 volts AC. That is how I'm able to power up that place. Wow. Yes. And I look at it, I say, with this small component, the transformers now, they are wasting transformers, the stabilizer casing. I go to those local places. I collect the stabilizer casing. I collect the transformer there. I rewind the coil. A 12 volts in, then the output 220 volts. Then I go into local market. Components here, they are very cheap. Components are cheap. Resistors are 10 naira, 5 naira. Transistors 100 naira. Which you do the amplification. Transformer is just for amplification. I do the conversion. I convert the DC voltage to AC voltage. That is how I'm able to produce a power supply.
That's an amazing journey there. Amazing. Very revelatory again. Very inspiring.
And it calls to mind, something a prior conversation we're having where we're talking about using what you have to solve your existing problems. One of the things that we're constantly complaining about in Africa is the lack of adequate power supply.
Absolutely.
Right? And we're saying government should do this and government needs to do that. But here we're having a typical example of somebody who used his resources to power up his plant. So if enough people are thinking in a particular direction, productively and disruptively, right, we can begin to solve our problems at scale. Right, and not just that, we can now begin to attract more resources in terms of funding, because savvy investors are looking for not just where they can put their money into, but things that can have impact, things that can solve problems, and things that can have transgenerational influence. So these are the things that as entrepreneurs we need to begin to focus on more deliberately.
I think you're an embodiment of ideas, but I listen to what you're saying, and I can see a big factory already of people not just solving problems around piggery or raising pigs and all of that, making money out of that, but also being able to channel that solution into some turbine arrangements that would be able to give us that power solution and the rest of the extensions that you're
These all
saying.
private sector initiatives.
And these are all private sector initiatives, and so it looks like it's pretty much amazing. I think that I'm sure if investors are, I mean, whoever is out there would be able to partner with that particular solution you're bringing to bear. Right.
Yep.
Back to Shoe Please. Shoe Please has a lot around DIYs that we need to learn today. Earlier we learned that shoes are skin stuff. You want to, so we're supposed to do moisturing, and we're supposed to be washing our shoes. So tell us, let's get back to DIY.
Okay.
Maybe we learned something today.
I have actually learned a lot today, personally, from this episode, from this the Becoming series today. I have learned a lot, and I have been inspired.
Absolutely.
Personally. So, but today I'm talking about the DIY.
Yeah.
We're talking about skin and leathers of different types. As I had earlier said, we have the synthetic leather, we have the fiams that is well refurbished, but we have what we call the real skin, pure skin. Those pure skin are natural things. As I had said earlier, like our skin, the same way we take care of our skin is the same way we are expected to take care of those leathers that we have in our houses. Okay, then I actually said that the difference between what we have out there in other countries and Nigeria, what makes our leather to develop problem from time to time is the way we take care of them, and trying to import into Nigeria what is not compatible with our own weather condition. We have what we call the leather soles, which is very compatible to other countries' weather. For example, leather soles, they consume the water penetrates into leather soles. But here in Nigeria, we have the rainy season and we have the dry season. So there is no how you try no matter how you try as much as possible to avoid your shoe going into water. It might not be very, very possible. So once your shoe that you have imported, no matter how much you imported it, the leather will be very, very okay, but your sole might have problems. So once the leather sole enters water, it will consume water. It will sip water. To get the right word, it will assimilate water, and that water will not allow the gum that was attached to it to stay. It has a way of detaching, because as much as air and water goes into your shoe, goes in between, it becomes a problem for that shoe. That's why some people that go into buying used shoe, okay shoes, have that problem. Your shoe, you just bought it newly, merely you wear, the first day you wear it, it goes out, it detaches. That does not mean that your shoe is not good. It's very, very okay. But the problem is that it has been kept for a very long time without being used. That is why I personally advise people to go for pure leather shoes. No matter how much it's going to cost you, it is better to have 5 shoes on your shoe rack than have 100 shoes that once the day you decide to wear that particular one, you hold it back, you carry it in your extra bag. Yes, you put it as an extra, yes, and go back home because you've not used it for a long time. And those synthetic leather, once you keep it for a while without using it, it starts to peel out. Leather does not peel out. Anything that is leather can never peel out. That is the whole truth. So somebody will tell you, I'm selling a pure leather shoe to you. It's a lie. Anything it's a living thing. It's a living thing. So it cannot peel, it can't go anywhere. So that's the difference between a pure leather shoe, a synthetic leather, and pure rubber shoes that is going around the name of pure leather shoes.
Thank you very much.